Hey guys, Small Town Bassin here, and we have another outboard video for you. So I'm a Mercury guy. I like my Mercury outboard, but a buddy of mine who's got a boat has got an older Johnson EVINRUDE motor. Now this motor is a 200 horsepower 2-stroke carbureted. It's a 1996 EVINRUDE Vindicator. We're gonna go ahead without a manual, pull the carbs, do a carb rebuild on them, and reinstall them, just so you guys can see how easy it is to do. I never did a carb rebuild video with my carbed Mercury, the XR6. Now I've sold that motor and I've bought an EFI, so now I have electronic fuel injection. We'll dig into that as we progress. But while I have my buddy's boat here, he asked me to do a carb rebuild for him. I said, why not? I'll shoot a video while I do it. He bought all the parts. He ordered the carb rebuild kits from C&O Marine, and this is what you get in the kit. You get a new needle and seat, you get a new float, and all the gaskets for a carb rebuild. Now this is 6 kits for this V6 200. It's going to take a little time, but we're going to go ahead and just do it. Shouldn't be too hard. So here's his EVINRUDE Vindicator 200. Here's the 6 carbs that we're going to be removing and rebuilding. So what's simple about these is that the butterflies are not part of the carburetor. There's a butterfly linkage plate that holds all the butterflies. They're not actually part of the carburetor body. So this is really simple. All we have to do is take these 4 bolts out, 2 and then 2 on the other side, and unhook the fuel lines from the bottom right here. Now these are just zip tied on, so this is going to be really simple. So I'm going to do them one at a time. I'm going to pull this carb off, unhook the fuel line. I'm going to rebuild it by pulling the bowl, and that's where all your stuff is going to be. That's where your main jet needles, your seat, your float, everything happens right here. So I'm going to show you how to do this quick, simple, and easy. Should be a cakewalk. We'll see. Let's make this quicker. All right, now all we gotta do is take a Phillips head screwdriver, take the bowl off. All right, got all our screws out. Now I'm just gonna pull the bowl loose. Take a look inside, look for trash. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Let me get some gloves. I'm gonna show you this up close. All right guys, I don't know if you can see this or not, but if you look right here on the inside, you probably can't see it. There is some trash in there. Looks like plastic shavings. No, it's a wasp. Get out of town. You know, Daniel said he is having a poor idle. This may be why. He had a wasp in his carburetor. In the bowl, we have our float, our needle and seat behind the float. The gasket is on the main carb throttle body. Goes around the venturi tube. That looks good. Nothing's blocking it. We're gonna have to open up the side plate where all the air jets and all that, the little passages are in here. So we'll have to open that up and replace that gasket, clean everything out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some carburetor throttle body cleaner to blow out all the passages before I put the new gaskets, needle seat, and float in it, and close it up and put it back on. In this case, all those passages look clear. No trash in there, but I'm gonna blow it out anyway, put everything new back in, button it up, and put it on. All right, so these are my parts. What I've got here is, lost my needle and seat. There they are. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this old float, needle seat out of the carburetor bowl. The only piece I'm gonna keep is the rail that it all floats on. It's like your hinge. That's all I want to keep. This is trash. The needle and seat. Look at that needle. See that tip, that red silicone tip? If that's in good shape, there's no need to replace that. This doesn't look deformed in any way. The seat looks really clear in the bowl. I think it's okay to say we can reuse this. It's already been worn in, it's got a good seal. That's the way to go whenever you rebuild a carb. You don't always want to replace that needle and seat. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with that part. You hang on to that for a later date. You may need it someday, just not today. I'm gonna blow this all out with carb cleaner, and I'm gonna reinstall everything. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna slide my pivot bar back in. I'm gonna take my old needle, slip that clip over, and I'm gonna drop it all in as one piece. Float, needle, and seat are installed. Now I want to put the screw back in to hold it all in place. Now, this float is level. There's no need to adjust it. If you needed to adjust it, you'd bend that little tab right there up or down depending on how much more of an angle you need for the bowl to fill all the way up. What you want, this isn't manual specs, but in a nutshell, what you want is when you tip this thing upside down, you want that float to be perfectly flat, level with the carb bowl. And that's what we got here, so no need to make an adjustment. We'll go ahead and put new gaskets on and put this dude back together. Now when you're screwing these back down, these Phillips head screws, you just want to get them barely snug, and you want to operate in a star pattern so that you get even compression across your gasket. That goes for any material, anything you're working on that's got a gasket that requires a good seal. Always torque everything down, and we say like a star-shaped pattern. It's like start on one side, go to the opposite side, go back to the other side, but the next one up, and vice versa, all the way around. It's kind of in the shape of a star, if that makes any sense to you. But it just ensures you get even compression on your gasket with a minimal chance of air leakage or fuel leakage out of it. Okay, now that they're all snug, I'm gonna go back through in the same star pattern, and I'm gonna tighten them all down by hand. Never use a power tool to do this. This is a plastic carburetor. Don't know why Evinrude did this, probably cost of manufacturing. It was really cheap, but always hand torque. right, that's it. This is the new seal for the back. If yours seems to be deformed, the new one, a trick that mechanics use to get a seal to stay in place to install is get a little grease on your finger and rub it into the channel, and that will help act like an adhesive and just hold your seal in place to give you enough time to install this thing. So this one may be a little finicky with me. I may have to do that, but it looks to be in the right position right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and try. Alright guys, done. I just pulled off a carburetor, opened it up, checked it out, replaced all the pertinent components in it, reinstalled it in about 15 minutes. So I've got 6 of these to do, so that's an hour and a half of my time it takes to rebuild 6 carburetors on your EVINRUDE 200 Vindicator. It's a 1996. I don't know anything about other models, so don't ask. This is what we're working with here. Now guys, I hope this helps you out in some kind of way. I did similar type videos with my Mercury. There will be more coming on the EFI as I learn the EFI system. But since I had the boat and motor here, was doing this anyway, I figured I'd shoot a video. Maybe this will help you, maybe it won't. But I do appreciate you watching. Until next time, you keep on fishing.